I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman, aka Doc, with another one of these little videos designed to help you to get through these strange days in which we find ourselves. How do you hold on while you let go? A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, we were sitting at a table in a restaurant with the church board of the church that I was pastoring in Lima, Ohio, the incoming pastor and the associate pastors. And we'd had a discussion as to what we were going to do in this transition. And I said, well, we can do one of two things. Either I can stay on as the president of the board and be responsible for the finances to make sure all the bills get paid, or you can just take it all over yourselves, because I knew I had a word from God to start a church in Dayton, Ohio. Well, they looked across the table from me and said, we want you to give us the church because you may go down to Dayton and flop. And with that, I signed over the church with an agreement that they were going to support our ministry ongoing. That lasted about 10 months, and then everything fell apart. Well, 32 years later, the church in Dayton is doing quite well. The church in Lima no longer exists. And I have to ask myself, how do you hold on when you're letting go of something that you actually spent 10.5 years of your life building? How do you hold on while you're letting go? Because we're living in a time when sometimes you're going to have to let go of what you've been holding on to. And how are you going to hold on while you let go? Let me suggest 3 things that will help you. The first is you got to know who you are. I knew that I was the head, not the tail, above only and not beneath. You probably heard me tell that story one time or another. And if not, rest assured you will hear me tell that story again, because it's one of the seminal stories of my life. And I am the head and not the tail, above only and not beneath. I have the favor of God manifesting in my life. And that might be a good thing for you to recognize. You have the favor of God manifesting in your life. In fact, you ought to say it out loud. I have the favor of God. You have to know who you are. You have to know what you have. We've already identified the favor of God. You have the favor of God. But you have so much going for you in your life. You have time, you have treasure, you have talents. It's all there. You may not have recognized it, but those things are in your life. You need to recognize who you are. You need to recognize what you have, and then begin to use what you have. We went to Dayton, Ohio. We should have had about 125 people on the opening service when we merged 2 churches together. We had 300 people that day, and the rest is history. It has been 32 years of manifested miracles and seeing the goodness of God in the land of the living. It has worked out quite well. We did not flop. You have to know who you are. You have to know what you have, and you have to know where you're going. If you want to hold on while you're letting go, you have to know where you're going. You have to have a certain sense of divine direction in your life, or at least a really good plan. Let me say that again. You have to have a certain sense of divine direction in your life, or at the least you have to have a really good plan, because everyone's not moving by divine direction, but everyone can move according to a really good plan. And oftentimes I've discovered that if you have divine direction, in the midst of that divine direction, there's going to be a really good plan. One of my favorite verses of Scripture is Proverbs 20, verse 5. A plan in the heart of man is like deep water, but a man or woman of understanding will draw it out. A sense of divine destiny and a really good plan will bring you to a successful conclusion, to holding on and letting go. And once again, we're living in a time of change and transition. Get used to it. Oh, it's not over. I know some of you are thinking, well, we're having a presidential inauguration. One president is out, a new president is in, and the change and transition is over. There's a COVID vaccine 19 that's available now, and soon the pandemic is going to be over, and all this change and transition is going to be done and through. No, 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 no. We're living at the beginning of a brand new millennium. It is a time of change and transition. And I'm prophesying to you right now, the next 20 years are going to be years of change and transition like you have never seen. You're going to have to learn how to hold on while you're letting go. Let me recap. You need to know who you are. You need to know what you have. You need to know where you're going. And I might add to that, as a child of God, you ought to know whose you are. I know whom I believed, and I'm persuaded that he's able to keep that which I've committed unto him against that day. Hold on, let go, enjoy life. This Sunday at Aspire Church, I have to tell you, I finished the message. I told Pastor Connie, if I took this on the road under a tent, we would get miracles. It's called React. It's a powerful faith message that will bring you to a place where you can receive the best that God has for your life. And I'll be sharing it this Sunday at Aspire Church. Catch it live on the live stream at aspirechurch.tv. That's live on the live stream, aspirechurch.tv, on Facebook at Aspire Church TV. Facebook, Aspire Church TV, live stream, aspirechurch.tv. Sunday morning, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be positive. Once you join me, I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman. I'll be back again Friday with a little more on this idea of